Most men don't realize this until the damage is already done. When you become emotionally invested in someone, your clarity disappears. You begin justifying behavior you would never tolerate from anyone else. You tell yourself it's temporary. You convince yourself she changed. But here's the harsh reality. Those little things you keep overlooking aren't small. They're warnings. And every time you ignore them, you give up a piece of yourself that you will never recover. Today, I'm breaking down 10 behaviors that should force you to rethink everything. Not later, not someday, right now. Understanding female psychology isn't about manipulation or games. It's about recognizing patterns that quietly destroy men who refuse to see the truth. Before we begin, hit subscribe and leave a like. And tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from, because this message needs to reach men everywhere. These problems aren't isolated. They're global. Now, let's begin. Number 1. She constantly seeks validation from other men. Listen closely, because this ruins more relationships than most men ever realize. If the woman you're with is always craving attention from other men on social media, in public, or even right in front of you, that's not confidence. That's insecurity, wearing a mask, and you're the one paying for it. A woman who truly values her relationship doesn't need endless confirmation of her attractiveness. She isn't posting provocative content for validation. She isn't entertaining flirtatious messages. She isn't handing out her number just to be nice. These behaviors aren't harmless. They're red flags disguised as excuses. What she's really saying is this: your attention isn't enough. And that kind of need is endless. No matter how much reassurance you give, it will never satisfy her because the issue isn't you. It's her lack of internal validation. Over time, this eats away at you. You try harder. You give more. You compete. But it's like pouring water into a bucket with no bottom. Eventually, you're drained, resentful, and wondering why you never measure up. And while you're exhausting yourself trying to be enough, she's already keeping her options open. A woman who needs validation from multiple men isn't building a future, she's chasing desire. And you're just one source among many. This behavior doesn't improve. It escalates. First, it's flirting. Then, emotional involvement. Eventually, betrayal. Don't wait to find out which stage comes next. Number 2. She refuses to take accountability. Watch how she reacts when she makes a mistake. Does she own it? Or does the blame somehow land back on you? This is one of the most toxic patterns you can face. She avoids responsibility because admitting fault feels like weakness to her. So she rewrites reality. She forgets something important. You should have reminded her. She lies. You made her feel unsafe, telling the truth. She disrespects you. You're too sensitive. Notice the pattern. You always end up at fault. Over time, this destroys your perception of reality. You start doubting yourself, questioning your reactions, wondering if you're the problem. That's the goal, because once you doubt yourself, she never has to change. Healthy relationships involve shared responsibility. Both people apologize. Both people correct their mistakes. If accountability only flows one way, you're not in a partnership, you're in a system where you carry all the blame. If she can't take responsibility for small things, she will never own the big ones. And when real problems arise, you'll be left carrying the weight while she plays the victim. That's not love. That's erosion of yourself. Number 3. She repeatedly disrespects your boundaries. Boundaries are not preferences. They are requirements. When someone repeatedly crosses lines you've clearly communicated, that's not confusion. It's intentional. Maybe you've asked for time to focus on work or yourself, and she guilt trips you. Maybe you've expressed discomfort with certain behaviors, and she keeps doing them. Maybe you set financial limits, and she pushes them just this once. Boundary violations are tests. She's seeing how much she can get away with. Every time you let it slide, you teach her that your words don't matter, that your needs are optional, that her desires outrank your well-being. She doesn't need to destroy your boundaries overnight. Only weaken them slowly until you forget what your standards ever were. A woman who respects you honors your boundaries, even when she doesn't fully understand them. She may discuss them, but she won't violate them. If your boundaries are constantly ignored, you either enforce them or accept a life of being walked over. Most men choose silence out of fear. But the truth is, the respect is already gone. Number 4. Her affection is inconsistent. One moment she's warm, loving, and future-focused. The next she's distant, cold, and uninterested. This isn't passion. It's emotional instability or manipulation. Inconsistent affection creates addiction through uncertainty. You never know when warmth will return, so you keep chasing it. It's the same mechanism behind gambling addiction. Sometimes it's control. Sometimes you're just not a priority. Either way, you're being trained to orbit her moods. You start analyzing yourself, walking on eggshells, adjusting your entire behavior to earn basic affection. That isn't love. That's conditioning. Healthy relationships have consistency, not perfection. Consistency. If affection disappears without explanation, you're not in a relationship. You're in emotional chaos. Number 5. She constantly compares you to other men. Nothing damages a man's confidence faster. If she brings up her ex, her friend's boyfriend, or random men to highlight what you lack, she isn't motivating you, she's dismantling you. Comparisons lower your self-esteem, remind you you're replaceable, and keep you chasing approval that never arrives. A woman who values you doesn't measure you against others. She appreciates who you are. When comparisons begin, it means she values extraction, not connection. And the men she compares you to, often exaggerated, idealized, or imaginary. You're competing with illusions while sacrificing yourself. This never ends. Even if you improve, the target moves, because the goal was never growth, it was control. Number 6. She isolates you from friends and family. This is one of the most dangerous signs, because it happens slowly. First, she dislikes one friend. Then, she has issues with your family. Eventually, everyone in your life becomes a problem. Isolation removes outside perspective. Anyone who might challenge her behavior disappears. You lose your support system. You lose your identity. She frames it as protection, as loyalty, as love. But what's really happening is dependency. A woman who loves you encourages your relationships. She wants you whole, not isolated. If she feels threatened by everyone else in your life, it's not love. It's control. Number 7. She's financially irresponsible and expects you to fix it. Money exposes character. If she consistently mismanages finances and expects you to rescue her, you're not a partner, you're a safety net. It starts small, then it grows, and suddenly, you're funding a lifestyle while being guilt-tripped for saying no. This is transactional thinking. Your value becomes tied to what you provide. If she sees you as an ATM, that mindset will only worsen with time, not improve. Number 8. Your needs never matter. Everything revolves around her preferences. Her wants, her comfort. Your needs slowly disappear under the label of being flexible. Over time, you stop asking, stop wanting, stop existing fully. Healthy relationships balance give and take. If that balance doesn't exist, you're not a partner, you're an accessory. Number 9. She threatens to leave during conflict. This is emotional blackmail. By holding the relationship hostage, she trains you to stay silent, to comply, to fear disagreement. Real commitment doesn't weaponize abandonment. Someone who constantly threatens to leave either doesn't value the relationship or knows you value it more and exploits that imbalance. Number 10. Your gut tells you something is wrong. This is the most important one. If you feel anxious, drained, uneasy, or relieved when plans are cancelled, listen. Your intuition is processing patterns your conscious mind hasn't caught up with yet. Men who ignore this voice talk themselves into staying until years are lost and damage is done. A healthy relationship brings peace, not constant tension. These 10 behaviors aren't minor flaws. They're warning signs of a toxic dynamic that will only worsen. Staying doesn't make you loyal. It makes you a volunteer for self-destruction. Walking away isn't weakness. It's self-respect. She won't change because you try harder. People change only when they choose to. Your responsibility isn't to fix her. It's to protect yourself. Choose peace. Choose dignity. Choose yourself every time.